All right, how's everybody doing? Hope everyone is staying safe in this crazy world we're living in. Just wanted to say a few words. I did not write anything down, so I'm kind of just talking off just whatever's on my mind. So, um, whatever's on my mind. If the finger pointers want to say something, they can say something. Let them say something. If the persecutors, those who point and condemn, want to say something, then let them say something. Right? There's a lot of finger pointing nowadays. A lot of blame. A lot of people angry. A lot of people want to blame somebody. Right? Our leaders want to blame one man. Right? Uh, my question is, who are they going to blame when that man leaves office? Because they're going to blame somebody. So when that man, I don't want to say his name, when that man leaves office, who are they going to blame? They're going to blame somebody. Just like Hitler blamed the Jews, the Dems are going to blame somebody. And since that man is not going to be in power anymore, who are they going to blame? That's the question you need to ask. But anyway, hope everybody's doing all right. There's a lot of anger out there, man. What's in man's heart? I want to talk about that. That is the title of this video. It is in man's heart to destroy, okay? And for a long time, for about 2,000 years, actually even probably more, we had an alternate way of thinking, which gave us the three major religions. The theology religions, which is Christians, Muslims, and Jews, right? Those are the three main theocratic religions. And all three of them formed around the same time. Judaism was first, then Christianity, and then Islam. But they all believed in the same basic principle. And that is where law came from. That is where the rule of law came from. And that gave us an alternative way of thinking that was bigger than personal gain. That gave us freedom over our own flesh and blood, which our own flesh and blood wants us to destroy. Okay, and that is the main doctrine of all three religions, believe it or not. Now, that was how we thought for a long time. And it is still mainly how we think, but things are changing. And people are really angry. They're pointing their finger. They're blaming other people, right? They're blaming groups. They're blaming even genders, man, which is weird. Race, other races, other tribes, even the opposite sex, which is sad, man. That is sad. There's a lot of finger pointing. Look, man, politics are not going to save you. Okay? You can try to get the right people in power, to have the influence. that there's nothing wrong with trying and getting the right people in office. But at a certain point, these people are not going to save you. Okay? Whether you have a D in front of your name or an R in front of your name, it does not matter. These people are not going to save you. And you know, that's all I'm saying. But it's in man's heart to destroy, and Christianity gave us a different way of thinking for a long time, and you know, it gave you something bigger to think about than just yourself, right? Um, and we've turned. I feel like America is becoming its own worst enemy in a way. I feel like America's changing, man. It's turning its back on the founding principles and blaming people, blaming, you know, just pointing their finger and persecuting. And it's sad to watch, man. It really is sad to watch. And there is nothing new about this. This has been going on for thousands of years. If you look at Rome, if you look at the history of Rome, it started off when Rome was first founded, there was peace. And they had a constitution. There were leaders. The king cared. The leaders were loving. The leaders were close to the people that they ruled over. They met with the people. The people loved them. But towards the end of Rome, things began to change. The family dynamic began to change. And it all starts with the family. If you can destroy the family, you can control a population. Because you take the father out of the home, okay? Believe it or not, the father, which is where we get the word father, right, from above, the father is supposed to be the spiritual person of the household. And the mother is more material, right? That's where maternal comes from. The root word of maternal is matter, is material. Women are more material, and they have to be. In order to survive, they have to be more material, which is hence the word Mother Earth, right? Mother Earth. You don't refer to the earth as Father Earth. You refer to the earth as a female, as the mother, matter, material. The Father is the spiritual realm, right? That's why when you look above to the sky, you look above to the Father, right? When you pray to God, you pray to the Father. And the root word of father is paternal, which is in Latin means pattern, because men work in patterns, right? So it's in a man's sexuality to be paternal, that's the root word anyway. So the man was supposed to be, and for the longest time was the spiritual leader of the household, was the belief system, was the foundation of the family, right? And so the man went to work and gathered, right? The man is a hunter and gatherer, and the woman is we're supposed to be the homekeeper, is supposed to build the home, right? So it's just in their nature, right? These are things that are biologically in their nature. Um, it is in man's nature to protect and to guard borders, to guard the tribe, while the women build the household, you see, and have the children, and you need both of that in order to be, I would say, in order to even be happy, right? A man has to have something to fight for, and this is why I say we're in deep trouble here as a society, because what has been happening for the past, I would say, 30 years or so is people have been identifying by labels, and our leaders have been turning us into warring tribes almost, right? And now they're doing it with gender, right? They're dividing men and women, okay? And if you look at what they're teaching, there's an agenda here, right? There's an agenda here. You have to divide people by race, turn them into warring tribes, divide people by gender, divide the man, divide the woman, turn the woman into a harlot, turn the woman into a prostitute, turn her into basically a deviant, right? Or which is basically done. It's happened, and which is why some women are unhappy. Now, I'm not talking about all women. When I talk about this, what I say, you don't have to watch or agree with me. I'm not talking about every single person. I'm talking about the vast majority. For thousands of years, women were encouraged to not be promiscuous. And there's reasons for that. There's reasons for that. Because women were encouraged to get married and have kids because it protected them. It protected the woman. Women need protecting, right? Because men are biologically stronger than women. So if you have an army of women and an army of men, and there's the same number of women and the same number of men, who's going to win that battle? Well, men are going to win that battle because biologically men are stronger than women. So women were encouraged to seek a man for not just love or whatever, but for protection and in order to be happy, right? But with things changing, women were encouraged to go to work. Women were encouraged to be the hunter-gatherer. Women were encouraged to sleep around. Women were encouraged to have abortions, to take birth control, not to get married. Basically, to do everything that is against their nature. And they were encouraged by other women to do this. This wasn't other men. This wasn't men encouraging women, for the most part. Yes, there were some men that probably did, but for the most part, feminism started and was created by other women, so women were encouraged to leave the house, and which is why we're in such chaos. It's part of the reason why the American family is breaking down. It's part of the reason why birth rates and marriage rates are dropping. It's part of the reason why people are so unhappy. It's part of the reason why women have more mental health problems now than they ever have. There's just so many things that have changed, and it was inevitable. It was inevitable that these days were gonna eventually be here, because it was incrementally done, and it was done by people who wanted it to be done. You see, this was done out of greed. This was done out of power, out of ignorance, and it was done over time. And that's where we are today as a society. So, and that's part of what you're seeing. That's why you're seeing such chaos right now. You're seeing such an exodus. We can call it an exodus. Like Moses, right? If you guys know theology, most of you probably don't, but Moses, the Jews were enslaved by the Egyptians. This happened thousands of years ago. The Jews lost their way, and they were enslaved by the Egyptians, by the Pharaoh of Egypt, right? This is where a lot of the Old Testament theology originates from. Daniel in the lion's den, King Saul, King David and Goliath. All these stories formed during that time, during the Jews being enslaved by the Egyptians. And eventually Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt and formed Israel again. And that's where Judaism really started. The religion of Judaism started. But anyway. This is happening again. We are going through another exodus. And we don't yet know how bad it will get. It's quite possible it won't be as bad, but it's also possible that it'll be quite bad. We go through cycles, in human history. If you go through history, there's always been a period of peace and then a period of instability, right? Chaos and order. So we go through cycles through history of chaos and order. And that's why we are entering, or we have been there for a while, a period of chaos, of restructuring. Eventually, there will be order again, but we have to go through chaos in order to get there. You understand? And so, what will happen? Will we go through a period of enslavement, right? If you look at Moses, the Israelites were enslaved by the Egyptians. The Egyptians basically had a bigger army. They were more powerful. And so the Jews, the Israelites, were enslaved. And so is that fixing to happen again? Right? Is there another period of something to that effect? Now, obviously, it will look different. But the principle is the same, right? People lose their way. We lose our way. Society loses its way we go through a period of instability, we go through a period of chaos, and we relearn how to be. And but it has to be that way, you know. So, you know, in the Old Testament, God was a vengeful God. God was not this peace-loving God, and that's why, you know, the the Christians who are promoting all this kumbaya and love and all this don't realize that for thousands of years before Jesus, God was a vengeful God. You know, he was. It says that he put his people through trials and tribulations. You know, and so anyway. Anyway, if you'd like to join the podcast, I'm looking to start a podcast. If anybody's looking to come on, we can talk about different issues in a more personal type of uh, platform, I guess. So, if you'd like to come on the podcast, if you have something to say, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you.